Hi everybody, welcome to the MenoLounge. I'm Julie Gordon-White, CEO of MenoWell, high fiber and protein bars. It's Tuesday, that's why I'm here with you. How are you? I don't know, I feel like, were we together last week? Yes, we were, because we were with the midlife upgrade women. Hey, Soda Pop. Hi, Jenny. Hi, is it Curie? Let's see. So glad you guys are here. We are talking about supplements today because turns out women want supplements in menopause. Women are still nervous about hormone replacement therapy. Only about 4% of women in the stages from perimenopause to post have decided to embark on hormone therapy. Hello, me. But even I, with getting to hang out with all the top docs like Dr. Mary Claire, Dr. Sharon Malone, Dr. Vonda Wright, I'm on text 101, text contact with them, and it still took me 4 years into the journey of all of this before I felt comfortable. So I can see why women are still not there, even though you can get there. Well, it's an individual journey. So anyway, but we're talking about supplements, and we're mostly talking about sleep supplements. You know why? For some reason, I'm struggling with my sleep. Let me know in the comments if you are struggling with your sleep too. But there's a lot of good new supplements out here's one by MIDI Health. This is a daily fiber. I love this one. It's a gummy. I like a gummy. Do you like a gummy? What do you like? Gummies or capsules? And so, I have my bar in the afternoon or with my lunch, and then later on I might have one of these gummies. 2 of them are 5 grams of fiber. I don't eat one. You should never eat on live camera. Bad manners. I haven't tried this one. Daily Support Cortisol. It's stress relief, mood stability, and sleep quality. I should try this one. Have not. MIDI also has this daily brain boost that I do like very much and use this one too. So these are just some that I've tried and wanted to share with you. I think if you check out on MIDI with these and use MenoWell as a code, you'll get 10%. I think so. If not, ping me. I'll make sure you get the code. But I'm just sharing them because I use them and I like them. But we're going to talk more about sleep supplement. And Dr. Mary Claire came out with her Pause sleep supplement. And so we're going to talk about some of the ingredients that we know are, if Dr. Mary Claire created it, it's phenomenal. But just some of the basic ingredients that we know are supplements for sleep. Because there's some feelings about melatonin, etc. So I'm waiting for our Dr. LaReesa, who's our MenoWell women's health advisor and estrogen specialist, who is working today because our doctors are live and, really in the world, which I love because they have the most current information, not to mention all the research she does on menopause. So let me see if she's here yet. She slacked me and said, I got to get in the car. Like, okay. All right. So I'm just chitty-chatting with you today, but I want to know, are you taking any supplements? Do you want to take a supplement if you're not? Or do you have any fears about supplements? What has your experience been? Let's see. We've got Fostering Longevity here. Love to hear what you have to say. Well, all of you. Let's see. Oh, did I say it right? Curie Merrill's. Did I say that right? Or Merrill's Curie? No, I have that gummy stuck in my teeth. That's such bad manners. So the other reason it's really important that we get our sleep in check is because many women eat our bars because they're high fiber and protein because, hi there, my Shelly, or you guys have all these creative names. Mine's so boring, like Julie Gordon-White, or I just want to make sure I say them right. Glad you're here. We got to get our sleep in check because we know that women in the stages of menopause gain 10 or more pounds. And a lot of that is around the middle because of the redistribution of fat and visceral fat, the scary kind that is around our organs, and just makes us feel overall uncomfortable, and we don't want it there. And so I know that many of you, because we get surveys eat our bars because they're high fiber, they're yummy, they have your protein in them as well. So it's a way to help manage cravings. That's why I started MenoWell in the first place. Cravings. Hi, Michelle. My Shelly or Michelle. But sleep is a big part of it, because if you don't sleep and you're doing all the other things to try to manage middle, let's just call it that for today, you are, lifting weights, you're working out with dumbbells, you're walking, you are paying attention to getting your protein and your fiber, maybe you're tracking even, and it's still nothing is budging, you don't feel better. Often it's because hydration. Are you getting enough water? We miss that. And sleep. So that's why I tried one of Dr. Mary Claire's. They're right. Last night, and it was really great. I went right to sleep. And because I haven't taken this supplement before, the serving size is 2 capsules. I took 1. Went right to sleep, but I did wake up at like 2:30, and I think it's just because I'm working on 2 really big projects, and so my mind is just spinning. So if you were up, you could have texted me at 4 a.m. I've been like, hey, yeah, I'm here, wide awake, sitting at my desk. So tonight I'm going to take 2 and see what happens. But I have a feeling that'll be really great, and I make sure that I take it as prescribed 1 or 2 hours before you go to bed, so it has time, because it's got what does it have in it? Something that calms you down. The print is really small, Mary Claire. That's all I'm going to tell you. How am I going to read it? Where's my readers? But it calms you down, you relax, and then you go to sleep. So you want to get that timing right, because we know our circadian rhythm when the sun comes up. And then that just tells our brain, all right, let's get going. And then it helps us sleep better on the other side. So I'm looking to see if you guys have any comments about supplements. Maybe you don't? No? All right. You'll want to know. Let's see if Dr. LaReesa is around here. Not yet. All right, let's see. So also turmeric is really a great one. I'm just thinking of all the good supplements. Of course, omega-3s. D and K2. And so those are really important for our brain, for our bone health. And also we need to make sure that we understand when we take supplements what we should be eating with them. For example, with those fat soluble supplements like omega-3s, we want to make sure we're eating some fats with it, because our bodies can absorb it better. And no, I'm not a doctor. I only play one on Instagram on Tuesdays. Just kidding. But I get to hang out with the best. So that's a bonus for me. So we want to understand, because supplements, I don't think we really understand them well enough. We know they're out there. They come from places and sources that we trust, but we still need to do our own homework to understand how they work with our own individual bodies, because we know our journeys are all so different. Some women sail right through from peri to post. Others really struggle. Somewhere in between. Most gain extra weight, mostly around the middle. Most struggle with sleep. And then there's things like mood, huge, right? Brain fog. That was a really big, tough one for me. Brain fog. That's what alerted me, actually, that I think something's going on here. At 46, brain fog and night sweats. So, but I didn't know what it was. I ended up asking a girlfriend, what is this? I asked my mom, she's like, oh, I don't, maybe it's menopause, but she had a hysterectomy, so she didn't really have much to share. So I started asking my girlfriends that were a little bit older, and they're like, oh, that's just menopause, because no one was saying perimenopause back then, 15 years ago. And that's when I'm like, oh, okay, well, what do I do about that? I don't know. I get a new bedding set. I make Dave open the window wide. That's how I was dealing with it. So it was pretty rough. It was a really rough time, and I wish I knew all the things I know now, and that the books that are out there, the new menopause, with the new perimenopause coming, how to menopause, Dr. Sharon Malone's Grown Woman Talk, which I love because she's got playlist in there, because who doesn't love music to just lift your spirits when you're like, I'm not having it today. So there's so many great books. estrogen matters. The list go. I actually have a huge stack right there. You can't really see it, but I keep them all close by. And then the girlfriends versions of with Tamsin's How to Menopause and Midlife Upgrade, the ladies that we had on last week. So there's so many resources. We don't need to suffer. We do not need to suffer anymore. Besides, just think about all the people talking about it on Instagram. So, but you've got to lean into what works for you. All right, let's see. See who's hopping in here. Hi, Chrissy. What can you do if hot flashes wake you up when you're sleeping? Rough. Okay, before you add a supplement, make sure you have the right bedding. And if you have a partner, make sure, one of the things that worked for me is my husband and I had separate bedding underneath the comforter on the top. So we shared the big comforter, although I really didn't want it. And then we had separate bedding underneath. That really helped keep us cool. It helped me keep cool. He stayed warm, I stayed cool. Also, there are supplements out there now that are helping with hot flashes and night sweats. Check out one made by Womaness called Menopause. That's such a great name. And then there's others. So take a look, go search for, Amazon's a great place to do research for supplements for menopause, night sweats, hot flashes. Now remember, supplements are natural, so it's not a pharmaceutical. You're not going to take a capsule and then tomorrow, everything is great. It can take time, and that's why the difference between a natural product, a food product, a plant-based product versus pharmaceutical. There's no right or wrong answer. Okay, I see our real doctor here, so I can stop playing a doctor on Instagram. Hold on, let me bring up Dr. LaReesa. What were you saying, Julie? Just kidding. She schooled me well. Here we go. Did you get that? Oh, there you are.
Did you just say stop playing a doctor? Did I hear you say that?
I said, I can stop playing a doctor now. Even though I've been trained well between you and Barb. Enough. I was sharing all the things on my desk. I love these mini
let me
fiber
see.
gummies.
Yeah.
I haven't tried this cortisol boost. Here's a daily brain
Okay.
boost, and then of course Dr. Mary Claire's new sleep. But
Okay.
I can be a little guinea pig about all the
All
things. So
all good stuff. All good stuff. Nice. Look at you.
look at
Okay. That's
you. Good to see you. Are you just
good
swooping
to see
in?
you
I hope you
too.
weren't delivering a baby or something like that before you came today.
No, I was at the Social Security office.
Okay, I just made up a whole story that you were with patients and all that, and you're not even Social Security age. Oops, did I lose you? What happened? Are you frozen or am I frozen? It's a great smile if you're frozen. It says you are unable to join. Let me see if I can bring you back here.
Okay,
There you
which I
are.
was. I was like all morning. I've been with patients and everything, but just like consumers out there, we still have regular things that we have to do. So those who don't know, my stage of heading into midlife and perimenopause includes adoption. So one of the things I needed to do was make sure that we had a legal name change completion. So
Oh,
yeah, so believe me, it is what it is. But y'all
are,
not here to
are we
talk
good?
about that? Yes, we're good.
Is your daughter's name Julie now, or what did you do?
Yeah, her name is Ola Remy Dukes. So it has a Nigerian translation of a longer name that means that God hushed my cries. So yeah, that story is to be out in the world one day, very soon. But I guess my the funny part of it is going to a government facility during a shutdown is very interesting.
Oh yeah, there's that. Good timing.
I had that
Did you
appointment
pass the
like
envelope underneath the door, or I don't know?
no, it's 2 months ago I set this appointment. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that. That's not what
Okay,
y'all are here to talk about,
I
right?
love it.
So, but just know
Supplements, Social
doctors have
Security
normal
for
lives.
babies, like all the things. I don't know. Supplements, aging can lead to Social Security, so
How about
we want.
stress, right? So just the stress of the trying to get there from finishing up patients, getting back here, so all of those things. So I'm going to tie it all in because that is a normal day, right? So all of us have different days and different activities. And when that encompasses a lot of when your body feels like it's trying to break up with you, a simple trip to I'm just doing, a check off on my list to make sure I have a daughter's legal name change. But it is part of reality. A lot of things that we are moving from day to day, shifting from day to day, we still want to feel like we don't have to, pass out on our couch by the end of the day, or feel like we want to feel full and vital and robust. This is a peak time where we don't want to plateau. And so part of that, I was listening or catching in on the end of it, is building stress resilience, because some of those things and those buffers and other things that our hormones and during our reproductive cycles have supported us in a way that we haven't even known. And it's a much bigger picture, a much bigger catalyst of things that happen in a day. And a lot of things need to line up for us to perform, for us to think clearly, for us to not feel like, okay, I'm sitting in a waiting room full of people and like my armpits are full. That didn't happen to me today, but I'm just talking about these
My
are
armpits are full. Does
normal.
that mean like you're sweating
Wet,
now?
yeah.
Haven't
So,
heard that before,
yeah, but I'm using terminology that real women are using, and so I tend to use that even in conversation and dialogue because this is a time and age, not only is menopause and midlife having a moment, but it's having great momentum, and being able to share these conversations means I need to speak your lingo. I need to understand your language, because many of the physicians out there may not be able to relate to you in the ways that you need to, because there's a problem not only to be solved, but you need to be able to live your most vital life now. So, and starting with sleep. I heard you talking about sleep.
Well, and I love what you're saying, because what I've noticed is that I might be having what I would consider an off day, feeling a little stressed, like brain fog, a little more intense, just not quite on it. And it's usually when I realize, oh, I didn't sleep very well last night. And I didn't always put that two and two together, because you're getting all scratchy on your mic there, LaReesa.
Okay. That's why I move my hair.
Okay. All that one. That we think it's just, our hormones, which it is, but we don't realize how big a part sleep plays in what happens the following day. Not just, I didn't sleep well last night. The whole play out happens the next day when we are trying to navigate and things are just not happening. So let's talk about sleep. I know you're the one who introduced me to the term sleep hygiene.
Yeah, sleep hygiene. And I love saying sleep is the new sexy.
Yeah.
I dream of a day that we're not only coming up in conversation between our girlfriends and family about what's the new movie or what's the new cosmetic, but actually comparing how much great sleep we had the day before, not feeling tired. So those are things to brag about for sure. And so I'm going to implement certain things that come from my framework and a Thrive model. As you know, I practice with an integrative pool of, it's not going to usually be one thing personalized. This is not one size fits all, but there are definitely common threads when we're talking about the spectrum of heading into menopause and postmenopause. That journey looks a little different from everyone. And one of those foundations that I use is not only the mindset, the connection, but also sleep. Sleep is vital. So thank you France Harris. So thank you. I'm gonna move my jacket collar. She said that might be an issue.
Oh,
So I'm going to do that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So with that in mind, a lot of us think of it more of the quantity. Okay, I need to sleep 7 to 9 hours a night. That is a goal, but some people are usually about 6 hours is their, finesse point that they feel optimized. But that next step is the quality of sleep. And that's what you're talking about. Like that next day, do I feel rested? Do I feel like I can have the boost of energy? Because this is a time where we're consolidating memory. Think of all the thousands of processes, of thoughts, of
all the
decisions, of things
computing that's happening
all the
in here.
computing. Yeah. And so think of your hormone changes and shifts as that Wi-Fi. Like we all get irritated when that Wi-Fi signal goes off or we don't have a good connection. And then when that connection of that rhythm goes off, it also interrupts certain pathways within our circadian rhythm. And so the quality of sleep ends up being those things we have to lean into of how to optimize it. So since we're talking about supplements, and so I'll just kind of target some of those high things that patients may address, or when I'm going through all their supplements, because let me tell you, it's so much out there.
And do your patients bring in all their stacks of all the things that they have, Or,
yes, but I want them to. I really do want them to, because these days you do have to be an informed consumer. And I'm put in a position. I've gotten additional training. I do the research. I'll sit there on a telemedicine and I'm like, okay, I haven't heard of this. Tell me what this is. And I'm going into the Amazon and taking a look, and I'm looking at the ingredients, seeing how much it has and what else is there, because it's important, because anything in my plan of care can impact outcome based on what they may be doing individual. Even though I spend more time with my patients, we have an active dialogue. That's part of the integrative model that I love. But guess what? You're probably spending more time with Instagram than you are with me, even then. And because you're clocked in a algorithm and you're constantly being, bombarded with a lot of things and a lot of information. And even though it's great and the movement and the awareness is there, it can sometimes be confusing because you're kind of picking and choosing, you're kind of throwing the dart out there. So going back to the quality of sleep, so there are different things. And so we'll go through like frequently asked questions based on what people may bring in or questions that I may receive. So one of the common things from a supplement standpoint, and I'll just give generalizations, I'm looking for one, not only just in the brand, but how they source their ingredients. I'm looking at, have they had third-party testing? Have they started studying their ingredients based on feedback from observational studies? Because a lot of times you may not get like the mega, big clinical trials, because that supports with a lot of money, et cetera. But these are things that may have been in some form or a fashion, things that have been proven to help support. So one of the common things are magnesium. Magnesium is an important compound or a molecule that is often used to help relaxation, recovery, and is often used to help with supporting the circadian sleep. Remember, we're talking about quality of sleep a lot, and I like to change a little bit in that translation of not only the quantity
between quantity and quality, because I think in when we're not sleeping in menopause, we're chasing quantity, but then if you get a long amount of time, but you're waking up all the time, then it's still not as good. I don't know. Quality.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, as we've discussed, those business meetings that you don't call at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
The 3 a.m. board meeting. I didn't call this.
Yeah, I didn't call this, but your mind is going, like you need to settle down. So I like that because it does help support the hormonal shifts. Magnesium is an important compound that is in a lot of metabolic pathways when it comes to detoxification, and brain is during sleep that's its biggest time to detox. Literally, I go ahead and use that term to really start consolidating, storing, forming new connections, establishing and sustainable type things, on a, kind of in a level of understanding. And these are one of the compounds that will work. depending, because sometimes when we're talking about one size is no one size fits all, it's really understanding. One of the questions I may ask, okay, are you a night owl or you're someone who's a morning person? Because then that needs to be addressed a little differently about how their support is, because maybe they don't want to be out by 9 or 9:30. And so that first foundation, that first foundation is what you had mentioned, sleep hygiene. So dark room, cool area. I love eye mask if you don't have expensive eyelashes that you're scared to mess up or something. Making sure like even a comfortable bed. I'm not saying you have to get like $1,000 mattress or whatever, but we know when our bed is not doing what it needs to do. It's a little clunky. And making sure that you're reserving that time. Make it sexy. Like, hey, I'm going to sleep tonight. This is, like start shutting things down within an hour of your plan. Like I'm about to lay down and rest. But let me take it a different level. When you're someone, it's hard to quiet down the brain, right? It's like, oh my God, I didn't finish this. I didn't, I need to do this the next day. I need to complete. One of the practical tips, I said, what is that one thing that you're thinking about that's really going to change your day? All right. That's not going to add like additional time. Okay. If that can help settle down, do that. But this is someone that may need more stress resilient support, more calming support. So we may look at it from adaptogens, or these are botanicals that are used to help soothe the nervous system, or other compounds that help with support outside of just magnesium. So this might be pulling from L-theanine, which is an amino acid that is used to help with that. Some of us who are on hormone therapy, because progesterone has very much a GABA effect. It's calming. It's an anti-inflammatory. So part of that could help support sleep, but everything foundational becomes from a hygiene, making it a priority. You can't do everything at once, still trying to get the amount of sleep that you need, and to do it consistently. So waking up and going to bed at around the same time, having sunlight try to hit your eyes early in the morning so you can be able to start the circadian clocks in the back, because they actually are different connections throughout your body, from the back of your eyes to other areas in your system and glands, and really making it an opportune time, because sleep is sexy, and so I want people to fall into, how can I do that? Another one is melatonin, what a lot of people may use, and commonly it's like, oh, okay, it helps induce sleep, but not necessarily. It's really helping with that sleep-wake rhythm. So once again, talking about the quality of sleep. And one of the biggest mistakes I've seen is that people are starting on like high doses based on what they're...
That's what I was just going to ask you, because some people are really sensitive or afraid, if you will, of melatonin. And so what do you think about that? So dose wise, and we're not prescribing anything.
No, disclaimer. Yeah. disclaimer. So I'm just going to take it from a practitioner of common mistakes or things that I've seen. And it may be pulling it from a supplement store or somewhere, or a gummy, and just the way it's processed, the way it is, it already has apparently a certain amount of milligrams, or 6 milligrams. A lot of times you can start somebody very low if it's a good pure melatonin, anywhere between 0.5 and 3 milligrams. And I usually start low and go slow, because we're supporting the system. And that's what I want to constantly say. You're supporting the system. There's no standalone. There's no ballerina at the middle of the stage, like, hey, you just need me and the highlight is on me. And no, oftentimes you need to support it with not only sleep hygiene, but things that go along with what we call let's go ahead and call it your sleep stack, what ends up working for you. And so even with estrogen declines, that can alternate our circadian rhythm, thus our melatonin. You have a slight peak of or a drop of melatonin actually in midday that may amplify like that after lunch slump. And some of the same receptors, these are little areas of the cell that are receiving the information from hormones and different molecules. Sometimes depending on what we call, I study an area called epigenetics. So those, what in your DNA blueprint along your variation may be a little different. And one of the things that I find is coffee intake. So if you've heard someone say, well, drink 1 cup of coffee more in the beginning part of the day, part of that science is increase, depending on someone's genetic variation, they may end up adhering a lot of caffeine or not being able to get it out of their system fast enough. Yeah. And it's competing for those melatonin spots. And so now it's making difficult for, or sleep rest cycle.
That's interesting. So I try to stop drinking. I love coffee. I'm a coffee girl. But I try to stop by noon. Otherwise, I know it's gonna, because isn't there sort of a tail on that caffeine that can last 4 to 6 hours or something like that?
Yeah, depending. And then some people, it doesn't affect them at all. Because I can drink caffeine later on in the day and my clock is still gonna be like, okay, you ready? We're going to sleep, you know?
I used to be like that, LaReesa, too. And then until I wasn't. I used to like, oh, I can drink coffee at night, no problem. And then all of a sudden, wham. It's kind of like being dry down there. Like, oh, that's not a problem, until it was. Like,
yeah. Those are valid points. And then oftentimes just how caffeine is adding to that cortisol and that effect of, if you're having someone that's already like here, there's no activation of a relaxation state or anti-inflammatory state. And that's what we're trying to pursue a lot when we're talking about a restful sleep, quality sleep. And then, and I want to make sure that we say that this is beyond those who may have some kind of pathologic component of why they can't sleep, whether it's sleep apnea or their diagnoses within, sleep disorders, which are definitely there where, magnesium or melatonin is not going to do anything. But these are certain things to think about. Okay, and I think, sorry, it's so many things that you can cover in such a short period of time. Right?
I know. Okay, I stumbled across recently, but it was passiflora, and you said it's passionflower. Tell me about that. Tell us about that as a botanical to help support sleep.
Yeah, it's a calming botanical. It's, ancestral in certain ways. It's been around for a long time, but many of us, midlife is a large time where people are given a lot of antidepressants, a lot of anti-anxiety medications first. I'm not saying that might not be part of your toolbox of what is necessary and what is needed, depending on that relationship that you discuss with your physician. But there's certain things that we need to do to support sleep that may help with reducing anxiety, getting that irritability, that restlessness that passionflower can be able to do, because these are high stress times. And it can come in different ways. A lot of people might like it with their tea, with a high tincture, and mixed with something else to help with those common things like valerian root, chamomile. There's so many, and I like essential oils as well, like at least diffusing in there to help purify, help my, just all the sense of calm. And so that kind of brings to the table is a sense of calm and your body readiness, for sleep. So
I love that you're bringing up all these formats, right? Because we've got capsules, we have gummies, we have tinctures, which are liquid drops you put under the tongue, right? Now I'm seeing strips. There's just so many different formats, and they may or may not have a different effectiveness based on your own personal chemistry. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. I'm going to walk and talk because I get something to plug up my phone. But part of that, and then it really does, I'm in the office, it really does assist and help with knowing exactly what ends up fitting best for everyone. And so that goes back to being an informed consumer. Just because something didn't work, it may have been how it was sourced, was it tested, is it the right approach, is it how it's dissolved and acts quickly in the system versus something else. And I mean, there are less expensive items that I've been able to try that have been good just as much as, you know, those that it might be expensive. But some of those things, just small little tweaks may make a difference, such as there's melatonin drops and versus a capsule. And if someone is really watching weight, know that they need to regulate and look at what their blood sugar is and make sure they're not spiking blood sugar at the evening. You know, a gummy may work well for them, but you probably want to also make sure you understand like how much, you know, sugar you're intaking throughout the day, because that does add that particular content. But a lot of women, you know, they don't like, or men can't swallow, prefer not to swallow capsules, do better with something that they can easily take and not kind of think about it and know that it can still support them. So some of it is some trial and error, but there's some good products that are out there, and then those that are, you know, developing.
And developing. Okay, let's round out our conversation because I know you have to get back to your other real life. Ashwagandha, ashwagandha, ashwagandha. Because it's a botanical adaptogen that we hear a lot about. It's in a lot of products. What are your thoughts on ashwagandha? Maybe you want to share.
Yes, yes, and I'm gonna plug up real quick.
So did you find a charger?
Yeah, no, just like, dang, where's my charger?
Where's my charger?
Like,
my husband and I are always talking about make sure you plug in so you're not chasing a charge all day long. You know, like we're chasing protein and chasing a charge.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame it on I ended up at a government facility for a little longer than I wanted to.
Social Security office. Sorry, ma'am, we don't have any outlets here for your charger. They don't work. They're turned off right now.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Sorry. Okay. Back.
Yeah. Shout out to all the government workers and those who are out there, the reality and the real street. So, so it definitely is. So it's a botanical as well.
Ashwagandha.
Used as an adaptogen. So we're talking about those botanicals that's used to help your body adapt to the system. So it can definitely be there to support, especially for those who have high stressors, and that's the thing, it could be calming when we're talking about settle of the brain, bringing that, what we call that sympathetic tone down. And complement with doing that with hygiene, a good fitness regimen. Even having a regular fitness regimen can help you rest better at night.
Exercise, huge.
Absolutely. And nutrition, where you're balancing out those things, where you're not dysregulating your blood sugar through the night. And so when you're adding these components to it, can support a restful sleep. Now, I have had some people that, you know, they feel that ashwagandha works better for them at the beginning of the day than versus the evening. So that's another practical pearl that I want to put out there, and that what I like for patients to bring in their supplements, bring in their medications, because it could make a difference of how they're timed, how you're taking it. I recently had a patient, we just literally changed when she was taking them and supported her sleep better, you know. So that can make a difference. So being mindful of those type of things. So the ashwagandha is once again one of those where you can take it in high tincture if you go to a herbalist or something that can make those high tincture drops, or a natural food store where you can see it where it is more immediately dissolved, or you can take it in a little bit better, or you can, I mean, I've seen it in different like mixture of coffees, to capsules or what have you, but it's a really good support if we're talking about something that is not necessarily a prescription, but something we can have or add in our sleep toolkit to help with that whole overall component of quality of sleep. I think that was the biggest component that I wanted to make sure I educate, is really about the quality of sleep. And when you're looking at the quality of how you're resting, how you feel the next day, it really does make a difference of what that sleep stat can look like. So if you're adding, if you have like a mixture of magnesium and or an L-theanine or adding ashwagandha, but these are things that I'm personalizing based on what someone is mentioning to me. If you're sleeping like a baby and you're doing well, I mean, oftentimes you may not need anything, but it may be based on, okay, I still feel a slump in the middle of the day. You can still support the sleep despite you feeling like you're restful, and still understand that it can still help with this boost of energy the next day and not feeling like you're slumping, midday. And so that can really make a difference. Yes, I do like ashwagandha. I love using it in my practice and supporting many of the women that are in these times where life is not changing, right? Despite your body changing as well. And you need to support the system. It's not just a symptom, it's supporting the system. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a broken record, but your body is trying to adapt. We're helping it adapt. So going back to the framework, even I discussed last time, you have the foundations. And for me, that includes supporting that mindset, that shift that happens with shifting the identities within midlife. You have the supporting through fitness, nutrition, and sleep. And then it embodies, okay, that next step is what are some of the molecules of medications that are going to help synergistically that foundation and to support the system. And that makes a difference, because after that, when you're using like your wearable and just looking at a score or something, right, it's really about how you feel and how you may understand restfulness and how do you support these other things like cognitive function. I heard you mention where maybe you're adding other nootropics that are used to help with supporting that cognitive function at bedtime, because you're going to get it when you sleep. You have quality sleep, then those things can be able to add to better cognitive function over time. So just collectively kind of pulling it all together.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps in those who are listening in.
We're complex. We're complex beings, aren't we?
Yeah, at the same time, I think it can be simplified if it wasn't so much out there, like we're thumbing through a whole bunch, and there's a lot of input. Yeah, exactly. So I think we can be in control of some of that as well. And so that's why I like this community, because no matter what, you're trying to source things that are going to be best, where people can have a trusted, not only community, but product that is supporting women throughout all ebbs and flows of life. And, with a good snack at 3:00 if you want. So
gotta get that fiber in there, sister. Keep it moving, especially all of our GLP-1 girlies. Keep it moving.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So good. Mm-hmm. Well, of course, I always love to ask you questions on something I'm struggling with, because like I have my sleep down, that progesterone was knocking it out, and then all of a sudden not working as well as it was before. So
okay, so tell me, what are you so what are you doing now?
So what am I doing now? Well, to be honest, I think I'm a little bit stressed, got some big projects working on that, and so that could be those board meetings I keep getting called to at 3:00. And I like to go to bed early, which also I think is creating, and I like to wake up early. I'm a 4:30 kind of girl. So then I can wake up at 3 and be like, oh, I don't want to wake up yet, but I might just be ready to wake up if I'm going to bed at 9:00. So I think I'm just sort of on a new circadian rhythm, actually. But I'm just trying to zoom out and observe myself, bless you, instead of getting all wound up that I'm not sleeping. I just notice if I'm very tired the next day or have brain fog, sleep quality, that you really helped identify the nuance between how much and quality. I'm not one that wears, a sleep tracker. Sometimes the numbers can make me not freak out, but like get me more stressed out because I'm a goal-oriented kind of girl. Like, So it's better just to go with how I feel. And So that's why I wanted to bring that up, because I just was leaning so hard on that progesterone, like this is the ticket. And then all of a sudden, like, not as much.
Yeah, yeah, and that goes with the support stack. There's not as often I have like a prima ballerina. I mean, I don't, and I that's the description that
Like
I
the featured one thing, right? Like
yeah, it's not
she
that
does
feature
it
one
all.
thing. Yeah,
There's
and
a
it's
reason why
interesting.
there's a dance troupe, not just a prima.
Yeah, so you have your supporting cast to help support the quality because there are different rhythms, there are different waves that are happening between your non-REM and your REM sleep. And there's certain substances and molecules that support one better than the other. And so I really haven't found too many things that I'm not supporting with something else after I've dealt with the foundation. It's not common that it's just a standalone. One of the things I was going to add, maybe to your stack, and can I just do that while we're
Yeah,
here on
go
the
ahead.
side? Evening yoga or evening stretches. I don't know if you know that, or do that already. But just something where like that's part of the routine of like there's actually some type of musculoskeletal and nervous system contribution to this relaxation that you're going into. So yoga, that state of mind, that state of consciousness, deep breathing, all well known to help support the circadian rhythms and the quality of sleep. And then supporting it with other things. I mean, we've mentioned, because that helps with mood as well. So maybe it is ashwagandha, maybe it is magnesium, maybe it is passionflower, or adding these things to help support with the progesterone at bedtime. So just some thoughts where it just becomes kind of that sleep stack to assist and help. And then I'm exploring the art of surrender. Right. So at some point, and that is a journey. That's nothing a pill. That's nothing a hormone. That's a state of mind where you're just, I have to surrender this. Let go. Let go.
Let it go. That's
Yeah.
probably the ultimate thing right there, right? So they're stacking it all up and all that. Because that stack starts to get heavy.
I agree. And expensive. So expensive. So yeah, the art of letting go is even more important because there are many things that I love those who are supporting mental health and the traumas that we all experience at some point of life, and especially women in the workplace and at home. These experiences look different, are reflected differently, and we may not have been supported through that. We've been pushing through. And this is a time in life where not only we have to advocate for, we really have to be proactive about it, and decide that, I choose not to do that anymore. And the power of choice and making that decision is even more mind-blowing when you do that. So
I love that you brought that up. Letting go might be the ultimate supplement.
More than you know, I'm telling you.
Okay, on that note, I'll let you go. Besides, you and I have a meeting in like 10 minutes or something.
Yes, I'm so excited. Okay, all right.
Thank you for being here, saving me from my rambling on playing a doctor on supplements before you got here. You always have so much wisdom to share. And if you want some one-to-one time with Dr. LaReesa, follow her here on Instagram. And where should they reach out to you directly?
Yes, go to thrivebeyondwellness.com, and hopefully it's live today on the site. If not, stay tuned on the Instagram as well as my website, thrivebeyondwellness.com. I'm actually doing a fireside chat. These are a series of not only community building, but just down home Girl Scout type dialogue and Q&A. Where it'll be me as far as the expert guest, but I'm having these conversations not only with patients, but they're inviting their family friends. But on the 29th of this month, we're starting to register we're starting to register for this event. It's virtual. It starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're exploring sleep is the new sexy. So this is right on time to talk about that. Actually, it's a double header, so it's coming out too. I'm doing something with blackdoctor.org that night as well, so I'm really excited about that. And so there's so much good stuff going on in the space, so I'm excited about the 29th. It's a double header, but it's going to be great conversation, and most importantly, activation.
Yes.
I'm hoping that people will be moved to act. So
that's what we want. Well, let us make sure we share that on our social and newsletter so we can get people there too, because sleep is the new sexy.
It
Just
is.
like I say fiber is the new protein, but whatever. So.
You're on it. You're on it.
We need all the things, but not too much.
You're on it, Doc Julie.
I don't want any malpractice. Okay. Thank you for being here, Dr. LaReesa.
All right.
My babe. Thanks, everybody.
All right, take care.
Let us know what you choose about your supplements and sleep. All right. MenoWell.
Take care. Bye.
See you next time. Bye.